Hi everyone, myself Mahesh Shiru. So today I am going to explain you the open channel flow, that is uniform flow in open channel of applied hydraulics. Okay, first I will define what is meant by open channel. An open channel may be defined as the passage in which a liquid flow with its upper surface exposed to atmosphere. It can also be defined as flow in open channels is defined as flow of liquid with a free surface. A free surface is surface being acted upon constant pressure such as atmospheric pressure. Thus, a liquid flowing under the atmospheric pressure through a passage is known as flow in open channel. The flow of liquid through a pipe when the level of liquid in the pipe is below the top of the pipe is also classified as open channel flow. In open channel, the flow is due to gravity and thus the flow conditions are generally influenced by the slope of the channel. Okay. Then types of channels, or it is also called as classification of flow in the channel. The flow in open channel can be classified or the open channel flow is the flow which has free surface and flows due to gravity. Thus, pipe not flowing fully also fall into the category of open channel flow. In open channels, the flow is driven by the slope of the channel rather than the pressure. Okay, so open channel, two types. One is natural channel, open channel, which may be of irregular shape, and another one is artificial channel of a regular shape. So, natural channel or irregular shape is obtained or it can be located in rivers, hillsides, then tidals, etc. Then artificial channel, that is regular shape, can be obtained by drains, culverts, sewers, and tunnels. So artificial open channels which is created by the man, whereas natural open channel is created by the nature or it can be obtained naturally. Okay. Then types of flow. So mainly the flow in open channel are classified into the following types based on its characteristics of the flow with respect to space and time. So that is steady and unsteady flow. First one, uniform and non-uniform flow. Second one, or third one, laminar and turbulent flow. And fourth one, subcritical, critical supercritical flow. Okay. So first one is steady and unsteady flow. Okay. The flow in open channel is said to be steady if the flow characteristics such as depth of the flow, velocity of the flow, rate of the flow at any point in a open channel flow does not change with respect to time. So mathematically it can be written as dou A by dou t is equal to 0, dou E by dou t is equal to 0, dou Q by dou t is equal to 0, where y is the depth of the flow and v is the velocity of the flow and q is the rate of the flow. Then the flow is steady if the depth changes with the time. Next one, unsteady flow. That is this point flow. The flow is unsteady. The depth is changes with the time. So that is if any point in a channel flow, the flow characteristics such as depth of the flow, velocity of the flow, rate of the flow changes with respect to time. The flow is said to be unsteady flow. Mathematically, that can be written as dou by dou t does not equal to 0, dou E by dou t does not equal to 0, and dou Q by dou t does not equal to 0. That is unsteady flow. That is depth changes with respect to time. Second one, uniform and non-uniform flow. That is, if the velocity of the flow, depth of the flow, slope of the channel, and area of the cross section remains constant for a given length of the channel, the flow is said to be uniform flow. That is, if for a given length of a channel, the velocity of the flow, it is depth of the flow, change of the channel and cross section remains it is slope of the channel and cross section remains constant, the flow is said to be uniform. Mathematically, dou E by dou t is equal to 0. Then, non-uniform flow. For a given length of the channel, velocity of the flow, depth of the flow, slope of the channel, and area of the cross section does not remain constant, the flow is said to be non-uniform flow. That is mathematically dou E by dou t does not equal to 0. So that is non-uniform flow. Again, the non-uniform flow in open channel also called carried flow. Sometimes it is also called as carried flow. Okay. So that is non-uniform flow. Again classified in two types, that is gradually varied flow and rapidly varied flow. So first one, gradually varied flow, that is the characteristics such as if the flow of the channel changes gradually over a long length of the channel, the flow is said to be gradual varied flow. That is, the depth of the flow in the channel changes gradually over the length of the channel. That is called as gradually varied flow. Then rapidly varied flow. is the flow in which the characteristics of the flow changes abruptly over a small length of the channel, then it is called as gradually varied flow. That is, if the depth of the flow in a channel changes gradually over the length of the channel, that is called as gradually varied flow. Okay. So this is the diagram. So the uniform and non-uniform flow. So uniform flow, let us say the flow direction, it will be uniformly flowing, and non-uniform flow. So see that here the arrow direction is how it is. Due to the obstacle present in this middle or due to the change in velocity, so abruptly then non-uniform flow. So how the water will be flowing in this rotational wise. So this is uniform steady, non-uniform it will be gradually varying. So if this is the channel, length of the channel, water will be moving in this direction means, so this part will become the uniform flow and this one will become the non-uniform flow. Okay. So again another one diagram to represent the uniform flow, non-uniform flow, gradual varied flow or rapid varied flow. So this is the tank or the dam. From this the water will be flowing. Okay. Why means depth of the water that will be flowing. So here constant. So changes again water will be falling in this again constant time it will be changing. So this portion is called as rapidly varied flow. So increases, decreases, and decreases goes on decrease. Here, see, and this little bit equal uniform flow, and this rapidly varied flow means so uniformly again it increases and decreases. So this part it is rapid varied flow to here, then uniform flow again, then again rapidly varied flow behavior, and then this gradually varied flow. Okay, then rapidly varied flow, so decrease in the increase or decrease in the water. Then again it becomes an uniform flow. So UF means uniform flow, GVF means gradually varied flow, RVF means rapidly varied flow. So this diagram, so uniform, then uniform, then gradually varied flow, then rapidly varied flow here, and this is the rapidly varied flow. Okay. Then third one is laminar and turbulent flow. The flow in the open channel may be castex as laminar and turbulent flow depending on the Reynolds number, that is ratio of inertia force and viscous force. Okay. When Reynolds number, that is Re, is greater than 2000, the flow is laminar, and when Re is less than, that is Reynolds number is less than 4000, the flow is turbulent, and when Re is between 2000 to 4000, the flow is translation flow. Okay, where Re is given here. So, this both laminar and turbulent flow can occur in open channels depending on the Reynolds number. Therefore, R is equal to rho into V into capital R divided by mu, where V is the velocity, rho is the density, and R is the hydraulic radius. Okay. So density of water, as you know, that is 1000 kg per meter cube. V is the dynamic viscosity, and R is the hydraulic mean depth, that is given by A upon P, that is area divided by dead perimeter. In some books, it is R is given by M, that is hydraulic mean radius or mean depth. So this is the turbulent flow. See this arrow marks how the water will be flowing, and this is lamina in a straight line, and this is in a curved line. Difference between turbulent and lamina flow. So here Reynolds number are equal to rho into V into R divided by mu, where V is the average velocity of the fluid that will be flowing, and R is the hydraulic mean radius of the channel. Therefore, laminar flow so R equal to less than 500, then translation for R is greater than 500 and R is less than 1000, and turbulent R is greater than 1000. So next one is subcritical, critical and supercritical flow. So first one, the flow in open channel may be categorized as subcritical, critical and supercritical depending upon the Short's number. In the previous case it was Reynolds number. When it comes to the subcritical, critical and supercritical, then it will be of a Froude's number. Since gravitational force in the is the predominant force in the case of channel flows, when Froude's number F4 is less than 1, the flow is supercritical. Okay, when Froude's number is equal to 1, the flow is critical, and when Froude's number is greater than 1, then the flow is supercritical or shooting or rapid or torsional. Okay. Therefore, the flow in open channel is said to be supercritical if the Froude's number is less than 1. Therefore, the Froude's number is defined as F is equal to V upon root of small g into d, where V is the mean velocity of the flow and d is the hydraulic depth of the channel and is equal to ratio of wetted area of the top of the channel. That is A equal to, that is wetted perimeter A upon T, where T is the top width of the channel and A is the area, the cross sectional. So subcritical flow is also called as turbulent or streaming flow. Subcritical flow, therefore F is less than 1, the flow is critical if F is equal to 1, and if F is greater than 1, the flow is said to be supercritical, shooting or rapid or torsional flow. So this diagram represents the figure for transition for super to subcritical flow. So A and B, subcritical to supercritical. So this part is subcritical and this part is supercritical, and this figure B is supercritical to superficial. Okay, supercritical to superficial. So this is the discharge and this is the depth. So see the flow, it is widen here and it is here narrow. So yes, so less than SC means Subcritical SO is less than SC. Supercritical in this SO means subcritical is greater than supercritical. Similarly, so here it is normally uniform, and here it is little bit enlarged, and it is, see, it goes on increases here the depth. So in this supercritical, so subcritical is greater than subcritical greater than SC, and in this case SO is less than SC. Okay, so this diagram represents the supercritical, subcritical, subcritical, supercritical behavior in the diagram. Okay. Similarly, type of flow, water needs control. So if SO is less than SC, then Y is greater than YC, depth is greater than critical depth, that is supercritical flow. So SO is less than SC, subcritical is less than SC, and subcritical is equal to supercritical, then depth is equal to critical depth, that is critical flow, then subcritical is equal to supercritical, and depth is equal to less than Y, so YC, that's supercritical flow. So this is the flow diagram. So this is the length. Okay. Then here it is v1 square upon 2g velocity slope, and here it is also same. Initial it is v, inlet it is v1 square upon 2g, and the outlet is equal to v2 square upon 2g, and this is y1 and y2. Y1 is the inlet side and y2 is the outlet side, and this is the datum line, and this is the change inlet, that is nothing but data x. Then this is the z1 height or depth from at the entrance, and this is the height or depth at the outlet or discharge. Okay. Next, it will be done in next session. Thank you. Thank you.